What's up, guys? UFC 310. I want to talk about the main event. I had two big takeaways. The first is that Kai Asakura was fake news. In hindsight, he was fake news. Number two, Alexandre Pantoja has run through this division. He made a call out, but there is only one name that he can fight on the current UFC roster that actually makes sense. So I'm just going to talk about both of those things for a little bit. Kai Asakura, fake news, and it's not necessarily his fault. It's the UFC's fault. Their job is to market. Their job is to sell as many pay-per-views as they possibly can. They need to stir the pot. They brought in a different fighter from a different promotion across the way. People don't really know this guy outside of the diehards, and they didn't know that he fought at 135 before, that he's moving down to 125, something he hadn't done in 7 years. But they just see the flashy highlight reels. They see the knockouts this guy has potential for. They just see the flying knees, the quick hands, the big power on the feet, and they can convince themselves that he's the guy that's going to beat Pantoja, because we actually saw earlier in the week, Pantoja had money going on his name. It was like minus 200 early on, got close to minus 300, but as the marketing job worked itself out throughout the week, the money did start coming in on the Asakura side. And even when they stepped foot in the octagon, the closing odds was actually Pantoja less than minus 200. I remember putting in a bet because I had to hedge on Asakura, but I didn't get great odds because there was a ton of money piling in last minute. So the UFC did a great job of marketing this. They made Asakura seem like this dangerous villain who had the potential to knock out Pantoja, but it just wasn't true. Asakura did land a flying knee early on, which it looked like it did connect, but Pantoja ate it, got a takedown right away, and then from that point on, Asakura didn't have anything. He kind of seemed like a one-trick pony. It seemed like he was relying on that one big shot to finish Pantoja, a guy who has never been finished in his professional career. He has a granite chin. We've seen that time and time again. So Asakura wasn't able to get the knockout. Pantoja was able to survive and do exactly what he does, which is continuously, relentlessly grapple, and eventually he found the round 2 submission. So it's not Asakura's fault. It's the UFC doing the marketing, selling pay-per-views, trying to convince us that this was going to be a close fight. I think they succeeded in doing that, but it turns out he is fake news. I don't know if he stays at 125. He might just go back up to 135 and compete with those guys over there at the bantamweight division, which is an absolutely stacked division. So, I mean, Asakura is here. I think he's a decent name to have in either division, but he's not a future champion. That's my takeaway. So when you look at Pantoja running through the competition, he's beaten Brandon Moreno. He has beaten Brandon Royval. Amir Albazi sitting at the number 3 ranking. He just lost his last fight. Tatsuro Taira sitting in the top 5. He just lost his last fight. It's not going to be Alex Perez. Almabayev is sitting at number 7. It's a good name, but he still needs that big win before he gets a title shot. Steve Erceg is coming off of a knockout loss. Like, he has already gotten his title shot against Pantoja, and he's coming off a knockout loss. He's in the top 10. Manel Kape sitting at number 9, fighting number 12 Bruno Silva this weekend. Is that enough to earn a title shot? I don't think so. So who is going to fight Pantoja? He called out Demetrius Johnson. Is it going to be Mighty Mouse? It's not. It's not Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse has already come out. He's already responded. He said he's not coming out of retirement. Even if he did, it's an out of his prime Mighty Mouse. That doesn't prove who is the best 125er of all time. That's not a fight I necessarily want to see. The one guy who has earned a title shot in this division is Kai Kara-France. It has to be Kai Kara-France. He is coming off of a knockout win over Steve Erceg. Kai Kara-France actually is a pretty notable name at 125, which is pretty rare to find. Trains over at City Kickboxing with Adesanya, with Volkanovski, with Hooker. Great gym. The UFC is apparently going to Australia, I think, in February. Can we get a quick turnaround from Pantoja? And can we get the Kai Kara-France title shot? That's the only name that makes sense. I don't see anybody else in this top 10 who has deserved it. They went out, they got Asakura. That didn't work. It has to be Kai Kara-France, who has probably the most power in this division. So it will always make for an exciting fight. He's always willing to go to war. Kai Kara-France, Pantoja, February. I think it's UFC 312. Book it. That's the video for today, guys. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and we'll see you guys next time.